violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Plea is not guilty. Mr. Eccles tells me he's got private counsel coming from Franklin County.
As James Eccles entered a Hamilton County courtroom, he didn't say a word. The 23-year-old is one of 3 men accused of killing 22-year-old Autumn Garrett during a fake gender reveal party in Colerain Township. He faces a total of 22 counts for the murder and shooting of 8 others inside this home in July 2017.
Wow. So this was in 2017, and they're finally wrapping up this case. But I'm trying to tell you guys, this has been happening. Super Gremlins have been on Demon Time for a long time. Even before the term Super Gremlin was even a thing.
It's our understanding that he has sufficient contacts outside of the state after this incident, did flee the state, and because of those reasons, we would ask for that high proof.
Prosecutors have not said where Eccles took off to. He was arrested in Franklin County earlier this week, the same county where, according to Columbus police, Eccles was a suspect in another murder that took place about 19 hours after the shooting in Colerain.
Wow. So this guy runs to the area where he was wanted for another murder that happened 19 hours after he killed this young lady. These Super Gremlins be busy. Okay? And I don't want to hear poverty or anything like that. He had gas money to get to Franklin County, didn't he? And then commit another murder. So poverty is not the issue. It's the Super Gremlin on Demon Time.
We have 2 brothers, the first of which is a James E. Eccles III.
In the Columbus case, a 19-year-old was shot to death. Eccles was never formally charged. The Franklin County prosecutor told me that case hasn't been presented to a grand jury. Police have not said if there is any connection between the 2 cases. As for the other 2 suspects in the Colerain murder, 21-year-old Michael Sannon is being held in the Franklin County Jail near.
Boy, either he got punched in the eye or his joint really looks like that, and he sheesh. That make him look like a whole nother level of Demon Time.
Where he was arrested. 28-year-old Roshan Bishop is in an Ohio prison on unrelated drugs and weapons charges. And arraignments have not yet been set for those 2 defendants. Eccles' bond was set at $1 million today. Reporting live in Colerain Township, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
With the 2017 deadly shooting. Opening statement started in the trial of 2 men charged in connection with the 2017 deadly shooting at a fake gender reveal party.
Do you remember? It happened in Colerain, and you might know that this story as it made national headlines. 4 suspects in total are now facing the charges that you see here that are pictured behind us.
But today only 24-year-old Michael Sannon and 26-year-old James Eccles were in court.
Fox 19's Kendall Hyde was there as well. He has more now, and we do want to warn you, some of the details coming out in court today are disturbing.
There were about 5 kids on the floor with a few adults when, without notice or warning, the screen door snatched open. And these 2 men, James Eccles and Michael Sannon, entered the home and unloaded their firearms into the bodies of the people in that small room.
So, this may sound very disturbing, and it is. Don't get me wrong. But this has become the norm in the community. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter if there were children there, women there. They don't care. Super Gremlins on Demon Time have no remorse for the crimes that they do. I'm telling you this because you need to know it. Okay? I see a whole bunch of old head gangsters on YouTube talking and then like, they don't sound like they have remorse for the things that they had done. As a matter of fact, they put it on a pedestal. They glorify it. And they still try and keep that persona alive to this day. Once a super gremlin on Demon Time, always a super gremlin on Demon Time.
You have the Federal Bureau of Investigation, all investigating this case. The state of Ohio doesn't want you to put emphasis on that physical evidence because that physical evidence shows you Michael's not guilty.
Somebody should stand trial, not James. During this trial, we're not going to be able to tell you who did this. All we can tell you is James did not.
Both men.
Look at the defense attorney trying to vouch for the Super Gremlins. Look, we know they did it.
Appeared relaxed in front of the court as they listened to the statements. Prosecutors say the men were shooters for hire who came to kill a woman at a fake gender reveal. The suspect's defense teams argues that Roshan Bishop, a third suspect in this case, hired someone else to do the shooting, Vandale Slade, the fourth suspect in this case.
Chaos erupted. Cheyenne wasn't pregnant. Despite Cheyenne throwing a party for herself to celebrate her baby's gender, and despite Cheyenne telling the media that she lost the baby as a result of being shot.
According to police documents, around 11 p.m. on July 8, 2017, two men with guns came into the home through unlocked doors and started firing, killing 22-year-old Autumn Garrett.
She was shot multiple times, and her lungs were punctured, and they were filling with blood as her children looked on.
Woo! This prosecutor ain't playing. She ain't playing. And apparently this woman lied about being pregnant. Or there was a woman there who lied about being pregnant. So it's a fake gender reveal. It's a lot going on in this story. But the murder for hire is crazy. Like, for what?
Prosecutors say Garrett's cousin, Cheyenne Willis, was the alleged target, and she was shot in the thigh.
In addition to her live-in boyfriend, Elijah Clemens, Cheyenne was in a relationship with a married man named Roshan Bishop.
Ah, okay. So Roshan was clapping the cheeks of Cheyenne. And he goes and hires somebody to kill her because she says she's going to keep the baby. Meanwhile, she lied about the whole pregnancy. Does this remind you of another story that we've done on this channel? Remember that ex-military guy who killed his side chick in LaGrange, Georgia? He pulled up beside her on the side of the road on a random roadside and shot her to death in the vehicle. So these super gremlins are willing to risk it all. It's crazy. Like, your game is not tight enough to say, look, baby, I made a mistake, but I'm gonna do better than I mean, he just decided to hire somebody to kill her. It's crazy.
The defense team for both suspects say that Cheyenne loaned Roshan Bishop $10,000 and told him to pay her back in a month. They say Bishop planned to use that money to buy drugs in order to sell the drugs and give her money back, as well as keeping his own profit.
Now, in the beginning of July, Cheyenne started pressuring Roshan about repaying the money. And Roshan, well, he confided with his business partner that the situation with Cheyenne was essentially stressing him out.
Ah, okay. So she loaned the money. He started flipping it, lost the bag, and there we are.
Towards the end of that 30 days, it became apparent to Willis that Bishop did not intend to pay her the money back.
And Roshan's business partner planted the seed to Roshan that he should take care of Cheyenne. So he didn't have to pay her back, and he didn't have to deal with the baby.
Roshan and Jeezy wanted to kill Cheyenne Willis. Why? Well, as the state just told you, Cheyenne had told Roshan she was pregnant with his child. Roshan was married. He had kids. He had a wife. He had a home with somebody else.
So that's just the opening arguments there. Kendall Hyde reporting. So Shannon and Eccles now, attorneys, say that there is no evidence that puts their clients at the scene of the crime at the time of the murder. They also say Bishop hired somebody else to do the shooting. We'll continue to follow it as we'll be back in the courtroom tomorrow. We'll be right back right after this. The new information after 3 weeks, the trial for the murder for hire plot to a fake gender reveal party. The grand jury has finally reached a verdict in the case.
9 people were shot and 1 died attending that party for a woman who wasn't really pregnant. Fox 19's Kendall Hyde joins us with the latest details in this ruling. Kendall?
Yeah, Chris, Amber, this was actually a very crazy situation. Both men were facing 22 counts. Michael Sanan actually only was charged with 1 count of attempted murder, and James Eckel was charged with all 22 and found guilty on all 22.
They knew, they drove past, they knew the kids were in there. They didn't have no remorse on stuff like that, so that guy just ruined his whole entire life.
Those are the words from Amber Smith, the cousin of Autumn Garrett, who was shot and killed at the gender reveal party for Smith's sister, Cheyenne Willis. Gunshots broke out in 2017 at the party, leaving Garrett dead and others hurt, including children. Willis claimed she lost her child during the shooting, according to police, but investigators later revealed Willis lied about being pregnant. Tuesday, the jury handed down the verdicts of 2 of the 4 men charged in the shootings, James Eccles and Michael Sanan. Neither showed emotion since day 1 of the trial, but on...
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that the Super Gremlin has no remorse?
Tuesday in court, each reacted to the judge's reading of every charge.
Specification 1 to count 11, we the jury, and you should join for to find the defendant, James Eccles, did have a firearm on or about his person or under his control.
I can say I'm happy that Eccles got everything he deserved, and I hope he never sees light again.
Verdict count 6, attempted murder, we the jury, and you
This dude, this one crazy. This is the dude who had the busted eye.
should join find the defendant, Michael Sanan, guilty of the offense of attempted murder.
As far as Sanan, I'm confused about they only found him guilty on 1 charge, so I'm just waiting to hear the sentencing.
Eccles was found guilty on all 22 counts, but not Sanan. Eccles' attorney felt that the verdict against her client was unfair, as he has been in jail for the past 4 years and plans to appeal.
He's extremely disappointed. He's just a kid. He's just a kid who's...
Are you serious? He's just a kid? Nah, honey. He's a super gremlin. On demon time.
who had his whole life in front of him, who's innocent of the charges and is most likely going to be given a sentence where he will never come out of jail again. So you can only imagine what that would feel like.
I did reach out.
Did he look like an innocent man when the charges were being read? He didn't flinch. He didn't flinch.
Out to Sanan's defense team on the matter, and they declined to speak until the sentencing is wrapped up. White is happy to close this chapter of her life, but the trauma from that night still lives on.
All PTSD, our family don't get together anymore. Our family's just broken apart because of it. He broke our whole family apart.
Now both men will be sentenced on March 3rd. In Hamilton County, Kendall Hyde, Fox 19 Now.
The trial in a murder for hire plot from a 2017 fake gender reveal party shooting has been underway for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, earlier today, jurors listened to closing arguments.
And Fox 19's Kendall Hyde joins us from the Hamilton.
This dude, he got an eye like Michael Sanan. This man eye tweaking too.
County Courthouse. What's the latest on this, Kendall?
Yeah, jurors actually listened very closely as they listened to the defense team close out their arguments on what was said between witnesses and law enforcement officials at that fatal night in 2017. Michael Sinan and James Echols are among 4 men on trial facing numerous charges, including aggravated murder in connection with the shooting that killed Autumn Garrett.
The government gave you some Facebook messages and some Facebook photos. She gave you some pictures of James and Michael together. They gave you exchanges of conversations. Why in the world would 2 people who are friends be talking on Facebook? Is that really that incriminating?
Alexandria Diodorf, the defense attorney for Sinan, says that although Roshan Bishop testified that both Sinan and Echols were the shooters, evidence shows Sinan is innocent.
Wow, so they're all just rolling on each other. Are you surprised?
At what point does a 19-year-old kid, which is when he was charged with this, saying I didn't do something, when does the testimony of drug dealing, lying, stealing, and now admitted conspiracy murder, at best that's his admission, overcome that?
Both men watched as the defense teams took their last opportunity to present the case to the jury. They talked about how Bishop admitted on the stand that he set the whole thing up and rehearsed his statement over the phone beforehand. Assistant prosecutor Seth Teager says that while both defense teams came well prepared for the trial, there's overwhelming evidence against both men.
Now, Ms. Colliver got up here in her portion of closing this morning and told you that maybe Echols just left his phone in Vandell Slade's car when he went over to Capstan that night to drive the shooters to the murder. Did he also leave his phone in the car on the way over to Capstan to do the reconnaissance earlier in the day?
They got this boy dead to rights. They got your GPS, your phone. You done.
Ms. Oswald talked about coincidences. That is no coincidence at all. He didn't accidentally leave his phone in Slade's car the very 2 times that are the most incriminating times to him.
Now, the jury is actually scheduled to deliberate on Thursday morning at 8:15. At the Hamilton County Courthouse, Kendall Hyde, Fox 19 Now.
Opening statements today for 2 suspects in a deadly mass shooting at a fake gender reveal party in Colerain Township.
Yeah, you probably remember this. This happened in 2017 at a house on Capstan Drive. And WLWT News 5 Cherie Palello is here with what was said today in court, Cherie.
Hi, guys. So on that night more than 4 years ago, 1 woman was killed, 8 others were shot, including 3 children. One victim initially told investigators she was pregnant and the party was for a gender reveal, but police found out that was a lie. Well, today, 2 of the alleged gunmen sat before a jury in Hamilton County Common Pleas Court.
Wow. So, I mean, the moral of the story is, look at how one lie and 4 super gremlins can turn into a mass shooting. It's that simple. If you do the math, this is what it adds up to.
James Echols and Michael Sannon are now accused of opening fire at that party, killing 22-year-old Autumn Garrett. They're facing 22 counts, including aggravated burglary and aggravated murder. The prosecution says Echols and Sannon were part of a murder-for-hire plot.
You will also learn that James Echols drove down to Lexington to pick up Michael Sinan so they together could murder Cheyenne and collect payment.
And meanwhile, the defense for both men say someone should be held accountable for this horrific crime, but it's not their clients.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of this trial, who's responsible for this crime?
Damn, my man is tiny. My man is tiny. Yo, shout out to the short kings, though.
Will be clear. And what will also be clear is that Michael had absolutely nothing to do with this.
Somebody should stand trial, not James. During this trial, we're not going to be able to tell you who did this. All we can tell you is James did not.
So the other two suspects, Rashawn Bishop and Vandal Slade, are expected to stand trial a little later this month. Sheree Palello, WL.
This is crazy, man. Woo. I don't know what to say, but hey, y'all better stop playing with these super gremlins talking about you pregnant, you got that baby. If you lend them money, you never want to lend money that you don't expect to get back, or that you can't afford to lose, rather. I mean, that's all I can tell you.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.